Hi, welcome to AnaMar. Andrew here. Today we're going to be going over the assembly of a 2-panel sliding patio door. Today's model will be a 5-foot retro XO 1733 door. You may have something that varies just a little bit more, but it shouldn't change the assembly of the door. There are a few tools you'll need after the installation of the frame is complete, but once you have them together, you'll be able to get started. The first tool you'll need is a rubber mallet. This mallet will be used for the interlock between the two doors to put it into place without damaging it. Another tool you'll need is any kind of your favorite saw. Hand saw, miter saw, or anything that will cut the vinyl covers that go on the fixed track that act kind of as a filler to make sure that your door looks as great as it can. The next tool you'll need is a smaller mallet that has a softer face to it to allow you to kind of tap in the riser in underneath the fixed portion of the door. This mallet should be just small enough to fit inside of the channel of the patio door. One of the first steps that you'll take is after the installation of the door frame is complete, you'll need to mark the orientation of the door. This is important for just a couple steps that we'll be going over, but this will basically show which side of the door opens. This should have been done when you ordered the door, so you should already know, but this model here is going to be for an XO patio door, and we'll show you how that opens in just a moment. Once the orientation of your door is set up, the next step is to place the risers and the stops in place. Your door will come with 2 risers, one that you'll place towards the center of the frame, and one that you'll place towards the edge. This is for the fixed panel to raise it up into the channel so it will not fall out of place. The second thing you'll do is you'll take one of the stops. It's the smallest of the grooved pieces that you have. One stays in the corner, and then one goes up into the corner at the top on the same channel, all the way against the edge of the frame. This is to prevent the sliding portion of the door from slamming into the fixed portion and harming or breaking the lock. After your risers are in place, the next step is to go ahead and place your fixed panel into the frame. With larger doors, you may need someone to help you because the doors can get pretty heavy. With this door, you want to make sure that the outside is where you can see the glazing around the edge. This is important to maximize your energy efficiency of the door, but it's rather simple because you should be able to see the glazing and the retrofit of the door at the same time. So, what you do is you just grab the door and with a firm grasp, you pick it up and place it into the first channel of the door, pushing up and onto the risers. It's okay if there's a little space right now because it'll be pushed into the frame in just a moment. So what you do is take the fixed portion of the frame and push it into the channel as far over as it'll go, using your rubber mallet or assistance of any kind to make sure it gets all the way into the channel. This allows for an airtight seal and also allows the room for the rest of the pieces that you need. Once your fixed panel is in place as far over towards the frame as it'll go, the next step is to get your small mallet, set it into the groove, and lightly tap the riser into a hidden position so you can't see it anymore underneath the fixed panel. Those risers are important to make sure the panel does not move and fall out from the frame. With the fixed panel in place and the risers out of sight, your next step is to take your interlock and make sure that it's oriented correctly. The interlock will come with a grooved channel and then a weather strip on the inside. This weather strip is going to be facing you when you're on the inside of the door. To place the interlock in place, you're going to angle the interlock and put it into the groove on the bottom and slowly slide it up against the door to where it fits right snug in place. To secure it in place, you will take your rubber mallet and starting from one end or the other, mallet it into place. Once complete, your interlock should not be able to pop out. With a fixed panel in place, the interlock secured against the door, the next step is to get your fillers for the top and bottom of the door and then cut them to size. They will come larger than you need, but that's what that saw is for that we went over earlier. You'll be able to cut these to the exact size that you need so that they'll just slip right into place. To put the fillers in place, you're going to start towards the door to minimize scratches and then put it towards the channel of the frame and just push it in place. No mallet is required for they lock in place. So again, with the top, you pinch the edges, put it right into the channel, pinch the edges into the channel, and then just push it into place. With those two locks in place, your next step is to put the other filler against the edges as well. You can start at the top or the bottom, but you do the exact same thing. You pinch them to put it into the channel, and then just run up the frame of the door, making sure that it's nice and tight in place. You may need to also trim this piece to fit, but once it's in place, you'll have it nice and secure and it'll look good. With the fixed panel in place and the fillers in position, the next and last step that you have for the assembly of the door is to take your sliding portion of the door and put it into place. Again, it's important to note where exactly each part of the door is. With the glazing on the outside, you're going to install this moving panel from the inside because you have to be able to put it up into the channel just like you did with the fixed panel. I'll demonstrate it with it now. The door goes straight up into the channel, swings into position, and rests nicely on the track. And the door will then slide back and forth. Again, orientation is important because your door will come pre-drilled with the handle specs in place. With the sliding portion of the door in place, the assembly of the door is just about complete. The only steps left are the installation of the hardware and adjusting the rollers to match the exact height that you need on your door. And that is how you would install and assemble a sliding patio door. To finish up the door, we're going to show you how to install the mortise and the locking mechanisms along with the handles. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you're familiar with the mortise. With the mortise unlocked, you would engage the safety button and pull down on the lever. With the mortise now locked, notice the lever is in a downward position. This is important for installation to make sure that the door will remain locked when it's installed. Installing the mortise is rather easy. With it in the unlocked position, you just slide it into place in the sliding portion of the door and take the lever, and with it facing up, you just slide it into place. You may have to wiggle it around just to make sure that it's lined up correctly, but once it's installed, the unlock position will be up and the lock position will be down. You can test this by pushing in the safety button and moving the lever of the mortise. Now it's time to install your handles into the mortise and the frame of the door. To start off, you want to make sure that your lever is facing in the up position and it'll slide nicely straight into the unlocked mortise. You align it up to where it fits snugly in place and take your handle with the grooves facing the frame of the door. You're just going to lock it straight into place. Still holding the handle in place so it doesn't fall. It is now ready to screw into place. So, you want to just go ahead and push it in as far as it'll go with your hands. And then what you're going to want to do is hand tighten with a screwdriver so as to not force it and ruin the handle. You'll notice a little bit of pressure on the back, but if you hold it tight, the screw will go right into place. The next step, once the handle has been tightened up to where it isn't loose anymore, with a hand screwdriver, you can go ahead and place the plugs in place. Once these plugs are placed into the door handle, you just push them right into place and it covers the screws. The next step is to screw the mortise into place, and you can pre-drill little holes, but the screws are self-tapping. So it's not necessary, but might be something to do to make it just a little bit easier on you. And then the last screw goes into place. Make sure everything is nice and tight, and your door is done, ready to go. A few final steps to make sure your door is as perfect as we meant it to be when we shipped it out to you is to make sure that all of your orientation on the door is correct. With lever up, the door is unlocked, and with the channels to fit your fingers as you go to open the door from the outside, facing towards the opening of the door, you'll be ready to put on the catch for the locking system. Now our locks come with a safety feature to help prevent the locks from breaking. It has an engaging button that must be engaged for the lock to come out. Now, with the catch, we push the catch against the button and lock the door so that the catch can hold against the door. The next part is to shut the door and then mark where your screw holes are on the frame of the door. When you put it on the frame of the door with your marks, you'll be able to drill exactly where the catch needs to be so that your door will be nice, secure, and locked when you have it closed. Now that everything is done, installed, and assembled, the last step may be some fine-tune adjustments. On the bottom of the door, you'll notice two little round caps. These caps access the adjustment wheel for the rollers. With a regular Phillips head screwdriver, you can then adjust the wheels to raise or lower the door. With a couple screw twists and adjustments, you'll be able to raise and lower the door perfectly to either balance it, level it, or maybe even just raise it up a little bit so that it looks a little bit more snug in place. Thank you again for choosing AnaMar. We hope that you have found this video informational and helpful, and we're waiting to see you next time.